YouTube channel subscribers to Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. This is Bill Anderson here in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Winfield Place condominiums on February 11th, 2018. And I'm here to take you back to when this was the Winfield Apartments back in 1978. And we're going to take a little stroll to where a actor from the Hogan's Heroes television show was brutally murdered. And his death occurred on June 29th, 1978 here at the Winfield Apartments at the time. Bob Crane was known for his work in Hogan's Heroes, lasted for 3 seasons in the 60s. But by the 70s, Bob Crane had kind of gone out on what they call the dinner circuit. He was an actor, so he was acting in plays at various dinner theaters across the United States, and he ended up in Scottsdale in 1978, and I attended a book signing by his son Robert Crane several months back, and very knowledgeable, very super nice man. I felt so bad for him that his father was so brutally murdered. But it is still technically an unsolved crime here in Scottsdale all these years later. And thought I would take you on a little venture at the Winfield Apartments, formerly apartments, now condominiums. And we'll walk right out this way. And they never caught the man that killed Bob Crane. But it was heavily speculated that it was a friend of his named John Henry Carpenter, who was a Sony video equipment salesman. And Bob Crane was into videotaping. He was a real pioneer in that aspect of private home videos that he did with various young ladies, all willing participants. And on the night of June 29th, 1978, Bob Crane was at the dinner theater called the Windmill Dinner Theater in Scottsdale. He had just performed in a play called Beginner's Luck, and came back here to his apartment where they provided for him, the dinner theater did. He parked his car right here in this spot. He had a rental car, parked his car right here. Bob Crane's apartment was straight ahead. .132 right here. The smaller window right there is the kitchen window. Over there is the front bedroom that he was not killed in. Obviously the front door goes into a hallway, goes back to the 2 bedrooms, and a living room on the other side of the kitchen area. And on June 29th, somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, Bob Crane was hit while he was sleeping across the back of his head, or the side of his head, I should say, on his left side, which crushed his skull. And it wasn't until 2 o'clock the next afternoon when actress Victoria Barry, who starred with him in the Beginner's Luck play at the dinner theater, found his body here in this apartment. And then it became a mess with the investigation with the Scottsdale Police Department. Because it seems like they had bungled the case. Back then there was no DNA. So the Scottsdale detectives, or lack thereof, were really so uninformed on how to handle a murder investigation. There was not too many murders back in the 70s here in Scottsdale. This is a very affluent area. It's very beautiful here. It's where a lot of the wealthier middle to upper class folks live around Phoenix. And the police could not solve this crime. They did have a suspect named John Henry Carpenter, who was Crane's friend, who was with him the night he died, hours before. And it was very much rumored that their relationship as friends and participants in, I guess, what you call threesomes with women was ending. Their relationship was strained. Bob was kind of tired of having a hanger-on in John Henry Carpenter. So the theory is that hours before he was killed, he would have ended the relationship with Crane. Crane would have ended the relationship with John Henry Carpenter. And with that, Carpenter became very angry and retaliated. I'll take you around to the back side of the apartments. This right here was Bob Crane's patio. And this would have been the window of the bedroom where he was murdered. Right here, apartment 132. Very sad ending for Hogan's Hero star Bob Crane. John Henry Carpenter was tried eventually and found not guilty due to lack of evidence. And according to Robert Crane, Bob Crane's son, he was guilty. And according to most people, myself included, I feel he was guilty. And I pretty much staked my life on it. But the court system, not much different than the Robert Blake or O.J. Simpson, found them not guilty, even though they were both guilty of their respective murders that they were investigated on and prosecuted on. John Henry Carpenter, in my belief, was the man that killed Bob Crane. He was hit over the head with what they believe was a tripod that was never found, and he had an electrical cord tied around his neck in a bow, which was my opinion and a lot of the detectives' opinions, a way of letting Bob Crane know in his death that he died the way he lived, with a tripod and electrical cord. So it was in this apartment right there, 132A. And I just wanted to share this with you on my Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. And I thank you all for subscribing to my channel. Please like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Got a lot of adventures ahead. And Big Bill Anderson saying adios.